I invite you to spend the day with me. Let's see what kind of trouble we can get into. Hello family, welcome back. If you're new here, welcome. I am Vicki and you're with Grammy in the Kitchen. So today is going to be all about what I normally do on a Sunday, plus a few extra things. First thing I did is I got up and cooked breakfast. So my day starts off every morning cooking breakfast. We're going to have biscuits and gravy today. So I have a cast iron skillet, buttering. We'll set that aside. And now we need to make the biscuits. So I'm going to add 2 cups of flour, a teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, a half a teaspoon of baking soda. I have 1 stick of butter I cut up into little cubes. I have a pastry knife. I am going to cut the butter into the flour mixture. I have the oven preheating to 350 degrees. Three-quarter cups of milk with 1 tablespoon of vinegar. If you have buttermilk, just replace it with buttermilk. It's not something I usually have in my kitchen. All right, we're going to mix that in until it's a shaggy mess. Put some flour down on our surface. Remove our biscuit dough. Now we're going to gently knead it, more like fold it, until it comes together. But now we can go ahead and do our folds so we can have some beautiful layer biscuits. You can use a rolling pin if you like. I find it just as easy to do it with my hands. Alright, we're going to fold it into thirds and fold the other side on top. Fold it into thirds, and again. So I'm going to flip it. Now the folds are on the bottom. Now I'm going to press it down until it's my desired size, and I will be able to get 12 biscuits. Try to keep it in a square. And we have our buttered cast iron skillet. Let's cut it in half and in quarters. And each quarter is going to get cut into thirds. .350-degree oven for about 25-30 minutes. So I'm going to add a little bit of bacon grease to this cast iron skillet. And I have 8 ounces of breakfast sausage. And I'm just going to cook that until it's done, and then we can make our gravy. It's probably going to take about 5 to 10 minutes. The sausage is about 90% done. We can go ahead and start building our roux. I'm going to add another tablespoon of bacon fat. I'm going to use the flour we had left over from making the biscuits. It's probably about a tablespoon and a half. And I'm going to add another half a tablespoon of flour. So we have about 2 tablespoons of bacon fat, 2 tablespoons of flour. Just going to cook that for 1 minute, just to cook that raw flour. And now we're going to add 2 cups of milk. I'm going to add a good pinch of pepper. We're going to make a pepper style gravy. I'm going to hold off on the salt just a bit. And then we're just going to cook that until the milk heats up. It'll activate that roux. And then it'll thicken up and we'll have delicious milk gravy. I'm just going here and scraping the bottom. Just make sure we're not having anything stick. Alright, I'll see you in a few minutes, family. So I have the heat turned down low. You can see it's starting to thicken up. Let's taste it for salt and pepper. It needs a lot of salt. And another pinch or 2 of pepper. And now we just gotta wait on the biscuits. Oven off. Biscuits are done. Gravy is done. And now it's time to eat breakfast. Sorry I'm not even showered or dressed yet today, but I have to get breakfast on the table first thing in the morning, right after I drink my morning coffee. So I'm going to jump in the shower, grab all the things I need to take, because I need to go get milk and my eggs. I'll see you back in about an hour and a half. Go do what you got to do. Go ahead and make you a plate. That's fine also. And I'll see you when I get back. And we just got back home from picking up our milk, because last week I was actually out of town. I went to North Carolina to help CJ move into his new place and just organizing the house a little bit. And I didn't pick up my milk last week, so I had to pick up last week's milk and this week's milk, plus 2 dozen of eggs. Not worried about it. We'll go through these eggs. But as for breakfast, we are done eating. The breakfast dishes in the cast iron skillet are clean, ready for our next meal. I'm going to put this gravy in the refrigerator, and we can have the leftover biscuits and the gravy tomorrow for breakfast. And I'm going to go ahead and put my eggs in the refrigerator. These are fresh farm eggs, but she does wash them so they don't have blooms on them anymore, and they have to be refrigerated. But before we start on removing the heavy cream from the milk, I'm going to have me a little pickup with some cold brew coffee. I do not buy coffee outside the home. We have a mocha pot, which is an Italian brew coffee pot. We make our own espressos. We make our own drip coffee, and we make our own cold brew coffee. We do not drink coffee outside the house. And I like sweeten it with just a little bit of maple syrup and my cold brew coffee. I don't mind flavored cold brew coffee like caramel or chocolate. But I'm not a big fan of just regular milk in my coffee. So I just drink it black with a little bit of maple syrup. Oh, that hits the spot. That might keep us going so we can get the things done that we need to get done today. So I have 3 pint-sized jars. That's what I'm going to put my heavy cream in so I can put it in the freezer. This is actually last week's milk. And I love separating this heavy cream. It is so rich and very flavorful. And I just keep it in the freezer until I'm ready to use it. And when I start getting a lot of pint-sized jars in my freezer, I'll turn it into butter. And if I get a little milk in it, it's okay. Alright, so let me get all 4 of these separated and have the heavy cream ready to go into the freezer. So we got 3 pints of heavy cream going in the freezer from 2 gallons of milk. Last night I went ahead and made a batch of sourdough bread. I need to get this shaped and put in the refrigerator so I can cook it either tonight or tomorrow. But first I want to make some pizza dough because we need to put some more pizzas in the freezer. We are out. I have 3 cups of water in the stand mixer. I'm going to add 1/4 cup of sugar, 4 teaspoons of yeast, a 1/4 cup of olive oil, 8 cups of all-purpose flour, and 4 teaspoons of salt. I thought I left the hook in the bowl, but I didn't. And I'm going to mix this until it forms into a beautiful dough ball. All right, that looks good. Let's move it over to the table. And my yeast is going to go back into the freezer. And I took my proofing bags. This is just a gallon size Ziploc bag that is pre-oiled. I keep in the freezer in between use. And I'm going to knead it just a little bit by hand. Just make sure everything is consistent. That is good. Now this dough is actually 4 standard pizzas or hand tossed pizzas. And I've quadrupled the recipe, and when I use my 12-inch cast iron skillet, I can actually get 6 pizzas from this. So if you want a hand tossed pizza, about maybe a 14-inch pizza, you would use 1/4 of this recipe. But we enjoy the deep dish pizza in the 12-inch skillet, and that's just what we use. And I am just eyeballing it until they're roughly about the same size. Doesn't have to be perfect. That looks good. And now we need to roll them. One nice smooth dough ball. We'll put them inside my proofing bag that has been pre-oiled. I reuse these bags over and over again. And I just keep them in the freezer in between use so the oil will not go rancid. And I put them in the bottom drawer of the refrigerator so they can proof. I like them to proof for a minimum of 12 hours, but the ideal is 24 hours. But I've left them in there for 2 or 3 days before. So if I don't get to it today, we'll do it tomorrow. Now we need to work on our bread. Yesterday morning, I got up and fed my sourdough starter. I keep it in the refrigerator in between use. So I took it out of the refrigerator and I fed it. We had 200 grams, so I added 100 grams of water, 100 grams of flour. That doubled my sourdough starter. I took 100 grams and I made some bread. So no later than tomorrow, I either need to discard some of that sourdough starter to make a discard recipe and feed it, put it straight in the refrigerator, or feed it and make another loaf of bread. So it's a beautiful sourdough bread. I've had it fermenting on the kitchen island all night long, so it's been sitting here for about 12 hours. Put a nice amount of flour on my bench. Let's go ahead and remove it from this bowl. And I'm going to start turning it inside out, just folding it amongst itself. And I'm going to make an artisan bread this time. I'm not going to make a loaf. That looks good. So I have a kitchen towel. This is a very thin kitchen towel. I'm going to sprinkle some flour. Pop some of these big bubbles. So this is the top. I do want this bottom to be nice and sealed. So top side down. Add a little bit more flour on the bottom side. Oh yeah. I have a bowl. I'm going to save this flour. So when we're ready to take this out of the refrigerator tomorrow, we'll use this flour instead of throwing it away and use an additional flour. We're just going to save that and use that tomorrow. So this is going to go in the refrigerator for probably somewhere between 18 and 24 hours, and I'll cook this tomorrow. The longer you let your sourdough bread sit on the counter to do its bulk fermentation, and also in the refrigerator do its slow fermentation, the longer it ferments, the more sour it will be. I like my sourdough bread sour, so it's okay if I left it here for 12 hours and in the refrigerator for 24 hours. I'm fine with that. Let me wash my hands, clean up my station, and we're going to move on to another task. So I took a moment and started working on Thursday's video. Please hit that subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you'll see what we're going to be making Thursday. But I need to pause the day in the life plus Thursday's video to reheat last night's dinner for lunch. That video on what we ate this week will be on Saturday's video. This is actually the first meal we made in that video. Please hit that subscribe button, family. So Sweet Thursday is done. I can't wait to share that video with you. We ended up making chocolate chip cookies 2 ways. We already had lunch. Dishes are clean. Now we're going to go outside and pick those onions. We planted those onions April the 29th, and it's been 3 months and a few days. But their tops are dead. The onions are small. I do have a couple up here. They were completely exposed, so I went ahead and picked those. Plus I have a couple in the pantry hanging up to cure. We need to get the rest of these onions out of the ground so they can start curing. I do not have an ideal location to cure my onions, so we're just going to put them on cardboard in the pantry on the floor with the door closed so Morty won't go in there and start messing with them. So let's go outside and pull those onions. It's kind of funny. I couldn't remember which onions I planted where. I had to go watch the video. But watching the video told me that the left side, right there, is the yellow onions. And on the right side, on that side, is supposed to be the white onions. So we're going to pull the yellow onions first, and then we'll turn around and pull the white onions. I have 2 bags that I'm going to put them in until we get in the house and we can lay them on the floor on cardboard, let them cure. They're going to be small, family. They're going to be super small. I came out here periodically through the last 3 months and I pulled the weeds. But in the last 2 weeks, we have gotten a lot of rain and I haven't been out here to weed it. So there are going to be some weeds in here. We're going to go ahead and take care of that. I do need to go to plant store to get some really good fertilizer because I need to re-fertilize both of these sections of pots so I can start growing some carrots, and I might actually grow some potatoes. Those 2 items grow in the fall very well, and I figured instead of having empty beds, and then we can start growing some fall crops. This is a tree the husband has in a pot that he's planting. Don't know why, but he wants to plant something. So this one says yellow left, which is the left side of the steps. Let's go ahead and start pulling. Do you see how small they are? That is so small. I'm probably just going to have to chop them up and get them in the freezer because I don't think they're going to be good for anything else. About the size of a golf ball. Go ahead and get all the weeds out. I am not happy. If you grow onions, can you tell me what type of fertilizer do I need? I don't want this to be a failed season. I want this to be a learning season. So tell me what I need to do next year when it's time to grow onions. That's all the yellow onions. Let's go to the other side and do the white onions. Now these are small too. That is all the onions. Let's take our harvest in the house, lay them out on the floor so they can proof and cure for a couple months. So we got the onions. I have cardboard on the floor. Let's lay these out. Now having it inside is not ideal. I do need to find a fan so I can have air circulating in here. But this is some cardboard I have on the floor. That way it can absorb the moisture that the onions had from pulling them out of the ground. And I'm going to divide this in half. So white will be on one side and yellow will be on the other side. Sorry, the lighting is really bad. And I will label it white and yellow so when they're cured, I know which one's which. So I have it labeled yellow, the left bucket's outside. And they're all right here. And this says white. The bucket's on the right side outside. And they're all right here. So I'm just going to leave them right here for a couple weeks. Let them cure. I need to find a fan so we can have some air circulating on them so they don't go bad, I guess. I'm not happy with this harvest, but even a failed gardening is a lesson learned. So this might be a fail, but we can learn our lesson, figure out what we need to do. I think I need to get a different fertilizer for root vegetables versus vine or bush vegetables. So we'll keep the door closed to make sure Morty doesn't go in there and bother those onions. And it doesn't look like we're going to get to the pizza today, so we're going to pause right here. I'll bring you back tomorrow and we'll finish the pizzas. Now I need to cook dinner. Well, it's the next day, and now we're getting to the pizzas. We did a lot yesterday, family. That was a good sound. We made the Sweet Thursday. You'll see that in a couple days. I had a cooked dinner, family. We did fish a different way. So delicious. That video will be out Saturday. We did a lot yesterday. We got the onions picked. They're actually in the pantry on the floor. I'm letting them proof. But before I get started on these pizzas, I decided I want some kombucha. So this is my elderberry honey kombucha, and it's really, really good. I had to make kombucha last week. I don't know if I told you this already. So I have some blueberry kombucha, and this time I did slice the blueberries before I put them in here. They've been sitting up here for about 4 days. So tomorrow I'll stick those in the refrigerator. I still have one more strawberry in the refrigerator, plus one more elderberry. Cheers. Oh, God. I absolutely love this stuff. Between regular coffee, cold brew coffee, kombucha, and lots of water. That's all I drink. Back to the task at hand. I went ahead and cooked my artisan bread. I put this in that green Dutch oven, 375-degree oven for 45 minutes with the lid on. I took the lid off, reduced the temperature to 350 degrees, and then cooked it for an additional 15 minutes. So the bread is done, 210 degrees. Letting it cool off before I slice into it. I'm just going to move that over there just to get it out of my way. Now I have two 12-inch cast iron skillets in the oven warming up because I like to have those cast iron skillets hot, hot, hot when I'm making pizza. 400 degrees. Now we have 6 pizza doughs. But we're only going to be making 4 to put into the freezer. Because 2 we're going to have for dinner. That will also be on Saturday's video on what we eat this week. So I have 2 pieces of parchment paper. I don't like using additional oils or flour when I'm rolling out my pizzas, so I roll them on parchment paper. And when I finish, I'll put these bags back in the freezer. So the next time we need to make pizzas, we already have some oiled proof bags. Let's go ahead and flatten out our dough. I want to get it a 12-inch circle so it'll fit inside that cast iron skillet. This is a cute little handy tool when it comes to rolling out yeast bread or something as simple as pizzas. All right, that's one. Let's get the other one ready. Perfect. I have some polenta I like to put in the bottom of my pans. And I have some pint-sized jars of pizza sauce. I don't usually make pizza sauce. The husband asked me to make it last October, and he hasn't used it. So we're going to use 2 pints of pizza sauce today. I usually use my pasta sauce, and I usually just dress it up with additional onion powder, garlic powder, and oregano. But since I already have pizza sauce, that's what we're going to use. All right, let's go ahead and get one of these hot pans out of the oven. And it's going to be hot. We're going to use a good drizzle of avocado oil. Let's sprinkle a polenta, and you can use cornmeal if you like. And the pizza dough. And I like it when it's just covering the bottom, not going up the side walls. Listen to that sizzle. And now we're going to add a couple of spoons of pizza sauce. And I cook it with just a smear of pizza sauce. And then when I take it out, I'll add some more. Then I add the cheese. Let it cool off completely. Wrap it up and stick it in the freezer. All right, so this is going in the oven. Let's grab the other pan. And just repeat the process. Can you hear that sizzle? Oh, it's beautiful. Back in the oven. Now the oven is set for 400 degrees. I'm going to set the timer for 20 minutes. I just want to get a nice golden brown on the bottom, and the top is just starting to change color. I don't want to cook it all the way right now, because when we take it out of the freezer to cook it for the nights or days that we want pizza, more than halfway ready. Bring it back in 20 minutes. All right, so this is the first batch of 2. I don't need to add any more oil, but I do want to add another pinch of polenta. I went ahead and stretched out 2 more doughs. And we're just going to repeat the process. And I'm going to add additional sauce on the top. And I have 1.5 pounds of grated Parmesan cheese. This is not the bag grated cheese. This is the brick cheese that I grated myself, and it's whole mozzarella. You can put as little or as much as you like on your pizzas. And if you like toppings on your pizzas, this is a good time to add all your toppings. Or you can put them on when you're ready to cook them and enjoy to eat. And I put parchment paper on top. And once they cool off, we can wrap them up and put them in the freezer. All right, so that's 2 down and 2 more to go, and then we're done. Except wrapping them up, put them in the freezer. So I took the last 2 pizzas out of the oven, added a little bit more sauce and some cheese. I'm just going to stack them right here. I'm going to put this in the refrigerator until they cool off a bit before I wrap them up. Wrapping them up hot is going to cause condensation while it's cooling off in the freezer. We don't want that. That gives you soggy dough. Once these cool off, we'll wrap them up. They'll go in the freezer. And then all we have to do is take them out of the freezer, unwrap them, cook them for about 20-30 minutes, 400-degree oven until they're ready. That's probably going to take about an hour or so. And now I have to cook dinner for today. Pizzas have been in the refrigerator for about an hour while I went ahead and cooked dinner. The husband and I had dinner. We're done. Still got to wash dishes. We're going to wrap these up so we can put them in the freezer. So I wrap mine in plastic wrap and I double wrap them. Then when we're ready to cook it, we'll take the plastic wrap off. We'll take that top parchment paper off. Leave the bottom parchment paper. Put it in the oven on a pizza pan, 400 degrees for about 20-25 minutes. So we have the parchment paper, pizza, parchment paper. And then the second time, I turn it a quarter turn and then wrap it again. And now we have 4 pizzas going in the freezer for a quick, easy lunch or a quick, easy dinner. So I just want to say thank you very much for hanging out with me for 2 days as we got our breakfast out of the way, pizzas. Pick those onions. We have them in the other room drying or curing, and whatever else we had done. If you don't mind, give this video a thumbs up. While you're at it, go ahead and subscribe. I will love to have you part of the Grammy family. Can't wait to share Sweet Thursday this week. It's a good one. And plus, Saturday's video on what we ate this week. Y'all have a blessed day, and I'll see you in the next video. It's time to put these pizzas in the freezer.